Oh
How
my
do you
gosh, I
know?
didn't know.
How do,
I didn't know
yeah,
either. And when I mean, I had this negative connotation around that word, right? Being vulnerable is like, oh, someone can attack you, right? Or something bad will
yeah,
happen to you, or you are
yeah.
weak. I will tell you how I discovered vulnerability, and it was the most bizarre way. It happened during COVID. As a physician, I always thought, and especially in my case, physician, immigrant, Latin woman in a world that normally is kind of commanded by men. I worked for the Navy for 10 years in my country. So again, I was supposed to be, powerful. And as a physician, you cannot get sick, you cannot cry, you cannot say no, you are a superhero. So that's how I grow up, during my life. And suddenly COVID came, and I cannot use my nice clothes and my high heels that I assumed that gave me superpower, right? And even the white coat we were not using, we were in scrubs, we were covering our faces, and forget about makeup or anything that makes you look, nice and fancy. Uh, and I was really with a mask, but without a mask at the same time. I was using this mask, right? This plastic mask or whatever it was, the material, but I was not masking myself anymore physically,
Mm,
right? I was not decorating myself to look like, oh, I don't look like I didn't sleep, or that I am tired, or using clothes just to make myself like more powerful. I was almost in pajamas, right? Like the scrubs. And that initial step took me to the next one, that was like, why do I need to fake that I am having a good day? My kids are at school, at home, right? They are driving us crazy. They are by themselves crazy. I don't see my parents for years because they are in another country. Um, I am not hugging my kids for months because I'm afraid to get them sick. I am tired, exhausted. I am suffering. And one day I just said that loud in front of my residents. And I noticed that everybody was very confused, right? Dr. C, that is always like bubbly, today is not doing well. And it didn't feel bad. Actually, for me, it felt like, oh, like today I don't need to fake. And the next day and the next week, and suddenly someone opened my door, the office, and came and it's like, Dr. C, may I speak with you? I'm like, sure, of course. And that person started to tell me, like, since you are not perfect, so now I can tell you that my life sucks too. My kids are also. And suddenly my office was full of real human beings sharing their real experience. And what I discover is, number one, that when you remove your mask and you are vulnerable, that for me, vulnerable, my definition of vulnerable is transparent, is you being yourself, is not masking yourself. I remove a big backpack, very heavy, by the way, from my shoulders. And as a consequence of that, I gave permission to others to be as imperfect as I am, as human as I am, as weak as I am, as vulnerable as I am, and as wonderful as I am too, right? Because we are who we are.
yeah, absolutely. What a great testament too of the power of being vulnerable and what you said here, giving permission. We start to give permission to our community to start showing up real. And I think that that is more powerful than it sounds here.
It is, because what you will discover is that those around you are suffering now more
Mm,
than ever, and that all of us, we are masking, we are pretending.
yeah.
Majority of us, we go home and we will collapse in some way or other.
Yeah.
And real life comes with those challenges. Who can say that nothing wrong is happening in their family, that nobody is sick, that nobody has a super bill to pay? that nobody is afraid of something. We go through those things, right? And something that could be very little for me because I don't care, let's say, about the sport. So, my team is not winning could be very important for you because you are the owner of that team. And if the team doesn't win, you lose your job. So we are not here to judge what is important or what is difficult for someone else. We are here to support that person. And the only way that we will be able to support someone around us is being vulnerable and allowing others to be vulnerable and to feel that they can share what they are going through. And some people really are going through things that are severe, that
Yeah.
are scary, and that could be maybe that silver line between being alive and dying. And and I was super surprised, to be sincere, and I cried that day of frustration and fear also, and sadness, when I asked my residents. I didn't know those 400 deaths by suicide in physicians, and I ask my residents, guys, do you know someone? Like, do you care? Do you? And I saw them so, like, relax about the topic. Like, okay, it's normal. And I was like, how this is normal? And that someone know one that dies by suicide, and the hands, one after the other, everybody was raising hands. So majority of them, they knew someone that was there. And the problem is that we are getting this compassion fatigue, and we are getting used to bad things to happen without us being affected anymore. It's
Mm.
normal to have 49,000 individuals dying by suicide.
Wow. Yeah.